So making sure that this is all nice and clean sections. So at first, the top's been almost like pre-cut beforehand. I'm going to be bringing this on up. Working layering, so making sure that my tension is correct. And I'm working over my fingers. And that's how I want to make sure that I'll be working a layered shape. Now, what will happen is, since I have my guide down the middle, okay, so if you see, I have my guide in the middle, and I'm going to be working across the head like so, taking sections across the head, working forward. And it will be on the base, so literally no over direction. So I'm just going to be keeping it just to the parietal ridge. Now, once again, if you guys do have any questions out there, if you want to give us a, please feel free to ask. So I am checking on the comment section. So yeah, we just did a live video in Florence, Italy on Saturday, and now I'm back at it here in Edinburgh, Scotland. So by working with this shape for men, so I'm keeping it on the base, but as I get closer to the fringe or the bang area, I'm going to slowly pull back. So there you go, working over my fingers and making sure that I'm only moving my thumb only, working square, going across the head. And so by doing that, I can then control everything. Now, as just to show you from the profile, I will be slowly pulling the fringe or the bang area back. Now by doing that, I'm able to, so by working across the head like so, that gives me an option to be able to over direct the hair back. And also to contain a certain amount of weight in that area. Now, if I decide to take the sections going this way, so that's a great way to reduce more weight. So depending on the type of density that you're working on. So I just wanted to say a big shout out to I'm not Rizgard Yoko Bakshinov. Thank you. That was a mouthful there. So, if you can kind of see, he's got this like a little flick. Now, what will happen then, so I'm just checking here. Now, I can cross-check the hair going this way, but I'm going to do a lot of that when the hair's dry. Now, I'm now going to continue working the back panel. So what I'll be doing is, just to give you a little bit of a heads up, I'm going to be working layering here. Then the rest is going to be clipper over comb. Then I'm going to dry it. Then I'm going to be working with my attachment guards. Then after that, I will then work with my texturizing on top. And really kind of just really focus on creating that little signature or personalization of it all. So if you have any questions, please feel free. So my name is Sid Saltung. I'm a regular educator here at Hairbrain. So really making sure that we have a continuous run of free available education for everyone. So, you know, because with being a barber or hairdresser, we are forever learning. So, yeah. But, yeah. So now, since the reason why I decided to bring it up was to work with the compensation of the roundness of the head. So just checking. And now I'm going to be working vertical sections going this way and bringing the hair out 90 degrees. So, but yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Or let me know where you're watching from. And I'll give you a bit of a shout out there. So, but yeah, so I'm just going to continue. I do want to keep the horizontal shape round. The reason why is because I will be taking that short with the clippers. The vertical shape is going to be square with graduation with the clippers. So we got Chicago watching. All right. Oh, amazing. So I love Chicago. Now, remember, I have my guide from back. And I'm working this forward here. So really just establishing the shape. And then you'll see as I work forward, maintaining the overall shape. And creating that squareness here. So these are pointers here that we teach on our online program. So for example, tomorrow night, we have a free webinar. The link is in the bio to register for it. Not the bio, I apologize, the comment section. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so maintaining that shape here. And then when I turn around, I will still continue working that nice and square shape here. So going through. Working over my fingers to maintain the flatness and the layering. And then you'll see, then I will be working a combination of clipper over comb on wet hair, on wet hair, and then also working with attachment combs or guards on dry hair. So now like I said, I'm still working. Vertical sections going this way. Cool. So just to let you know, we got Austin, Texas watching. We got UK. We got Australia. So I'm here. I'm based, well, I live here in Edinburgh, Scotland. So I'm just grateful to be able to join you here on Hairbrain. So right now I'm putting the basic shape in. And then you'll see I'm then going to be creating a much more tighter shape with the clippers. So there are different ways to cut hair. But right now, I'm just putting the basic shape in. So still working with sectioning. But at the same time, being mindful of, you know, the shape, especially when it gets closer to the fringe or the bang area. Now, I really kind of just wanted to show you, especially working with the machines, working with the clippers. So I'm going to get my clippers now. Now, I'm able to work with, let me see if I can get this a little bit closer here. Now, I'm able to work with the hair being wet with the clippers for clipper over comb. Now, the reason why is I just wanted, this is a quick way to cut the hair and also to establish the shape. Now, since this is my left side and I'm right-handed, I'm going to be going the opposite way. So if you have any questions about what I'm doing, please put them in the comment section. Now, by working with clipper over comb, you know, I'm able to quickly establish the shape right away. Now, you need to make sure you use a jumbo comb. And by myself going the opposite way, what will happen is that I don't get the hair over the client's face. Yeah. So the comb I'm using is the brand called Andis. And it's the same brand of clippers I'm using. So it's white because so I can see what I'm doing, especially on the dark hair. Then what will happen is I will then go to a different set of clippers with adjustable lever when the hair's dry. Okay, so I did one side first, then I'm doing the other, then I'll match up in the back. So, great. Thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. So, if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section or let us know where you're watching from. So I'm very grateful. I was just got back from Italy. And we were in Florence, Italy. I was doing education. Well, and then we were doing a live video tutorial here on Hairbrain. Okay, so the question is, why do I cut the sides first? Now, what will happen is, so if I was in the barbershop, what would happen is I would actually use the mirrors and I would then be able to check to see the height and that is going to be correct for the client or the guest. And then what would happen is if I do both sides, I can match it up in the back. Now, I used to cut doing the back first, But what would happen is, it's like, there's nothing, it doesn't matter where you start. But it's also, it's like what works well for you. Now, this works well for me. But, you know, I used to start in the back. If I was too concerned that if I cut the back too short. So, but it's, I'm able to match up the sides in the back. Yeah. So that's the reason why. So hopefully that answered your question okay. Great question. Keep them rolling, guys. Okay, so I'm just quickly putting the basic shape. Now, what I'm then going to be doing is I'm going to be drying this off. Then I will then work with my clipper guards. And then also you'll see that I'm going to be working on the blending technique. So, so far I've done the top. Then we do the clipper. Then we do the blend. So, TCB, taking care of business. Yep. Now, so I'm going to be using just a little bit of product just to control the hair. So I'm going to use a little mousse. So, especially on the top. And now, really just making sure that especially can be able to control. I can also maybe thicken it up a little bit. And it gives me a little bit of control when I'm doing the rest of the cutting. So I apply the mousse throughout the comb so I don't get my hands too sticky. And also, what happens is it's an even distribution of product. I'm not going to be putting any product necessarily in the bottom, because what happens is I don't want it to get too sticky. You know, for the clipper work. The one thing is just be mindful. I'm not saying this is sticky mousse, but this is just like, I don't want any product in the hair at the bottom. It's not really necessary. So I'm now going to be using a flat brush. So this is a vest brush, which is a 7-row. And which is a bit smaller, so it's easier for men's hair. Now I'm going to blow dry. I'm probably going to do, let's see if I do a little flick. Now, the reason why I'm going to dry it off like this, I really want to be able to control the hair and to be able to continue my cutting afterwards. So, making sure that when I'm using the brush, following the head shape. And by using the brush, I'm controlling that hair, especially for when I'm wanting more cutting. But I hope everyone's doing well today or tonight. So please let me know how you're doing in there. And also, if you have any questions about what I'm doing, what equipment I'm using, please let me know. So, once again, I think the thing is, it's when we are cutting hair, there's many different ways to go about it. You know, one of the important factors is the end result. Okay, we really want to make sure your client is happy with it. You know, because they're the ones, you know, that have to wear your work of art. So I'm going to go back and forth, continuing, controlling the hair, Making sure the nozzle follows the brush. Okay? And I want to make sure it's 100% dry. Continuing. Going back and forth, back and forth. Now, for myself, I think one of the things is like, it's just continuing, you know, going back and forth to watch that movement. Sorry, my nozzle fell off. And, you know, it's, I think just having fun with blow drying and cutting hair. But I will have to make sure that it's I'm going to continue. And it's, yeah, pretty much all dry. Just want to make sure I'm combing the hair. And I will be playing around with the styling afterwards as well. Yeah, so we're going to use different products just to see how it's controlled. Now, if you see, well, I'm trying to give like a nice little quiff or the front area. So for anyone joining us, just to let you know, I started on the top first. Worked layering on top, working over my fingers. And I worked clipper over comb so far for the basic shape on the sides. Now let's go into the clipper with the guards. Okay, so what I'm first going to use, I'm going to use the number 2 attachment comb. Now, for some of you that are still getting used to working with clippers, now remember, now the clippers have a main number on them. Now, this one's the number 2. So what happens is that if I use the number 2 attachment comb, that means I'm cutting the hair to 2 weeks of growth. If I use the number 4 attachment comb, it means 4 weeks of growth. A number 1, 1 week. Now, what will happen is, so how much does hair grow per month? Okay, hair grows a ½ inch or a centimeter. So the way I'm going to be approaching this, okay, I want to make sure I don't want to round off the top. So I want to make sure I have a cutting comb in my hand. Then, as the hair gets shorter, I'm going to then go into my fade brush. The reason why I have a cutting comb is because I need to make sure the hair stays straight. Now, what will happen is, I want to make sure that my angle of my arm is going straight up. Okay, now the reason why, okay, is because I want to keep a flatter shape. And you'll see that area I can do either, I could blend it with scissor over combing, clipper over comb, or blending scissors. So the choice is yours. Okay. Now, what I usually teach my students is that when I put the clipper on its side, that'll be a half or a medium fade. Now, as we go above, that'll be going high. And when it's around the hairline area, about one finger, it's going to be more of like a low fade. Now, what will happen is, I'm now going to be doing the opposite side. Then, when I do both sides, then I do the back. So, like I said, I want to have the comb in my hands, just to make sure that I am continuing, right, making sure that I'm combing the hair, working with the natural growth pattern. Then I'll make sure that in the back we can then easily see the balance. There we go. So yeah, I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate Ruzcard's comments from Chicago. Now, I left this out down here just because I'm going to take that shorter anyway. Now, the reason why I also do this way is so you, as yourself watching, you can see it 3 times. So, I'm now going to go to a closed blade. What that means is I put the lever up, and that's going to be the shortest length from the clipper. Now, this is my fade brush, making sure that it will control the hair and get rid of the shorter bits. Now, what will happen is the movement of my hand, I'm going to be doing more of my hand movement. Okay, because I don't need to take this up like that. Because what will happen is I will then make sure that, you know, I want to keep the fade shorter and move it. And then you can see what I need to blend after taking it there. That's why you need to make sure you have a fade brush. Because what will happen is that the hair will stick to the freshly cut hair. And really just one of the key things about fading is shading. We want to make sure that we are really looking at the color. Yeah, sorry, I'm just moving the light here so you guys can maybe see better here. I apologize. So this area, I'm going to go over and cut that afterwards. Yeah, I'm not too fussed about that. Now, just say now, if I need to, I could be using an open blade. I'm just going to go back over that. I'm just going to clean up. You can also use the corner of your blades. And yeah, I might be using the trimmer around the edges here. Yeah, I sometimes don't like to use trimmers on my my mannequins, just because I don't want to, like, you know, damage my blades at all because it's plastic. Now, what will happen? I'm going to go back. Going over, working with the clippers. So, going through here. But now, I'm very grateful once again that you all everyone's watching. Please, if you have any questions, please, I'll check the comment section. I'll be able to hopefully answer any questions you might have. But yeah, so if it's really just taking a look at the movement I'm doing, working with the clippers, you know, once again, why is it so important for some of the cosmetologists to understand maybe their men's work? Now, by learning how to do men's cutting, you know, I'm originally from New York, and even though I live here in Scotland, I've been in the UK for about 22 years. I think what I realized, especially as we take a look, you know, when hairdressers, cosmetologists, you know, we are doing, you know, you have, especially if you do hair coloring, you know, you get the clients that, you know, have the freehand coloring techniques, the ladies, you know, how are they coming in every month to get their hair colored? Maybe not. So that's why it's great to be able to do male clients, to be able to fill in those gaps, and also to be able to make some money there. So, once again, I think really the importance of going through, you know, learning how to do men's work, and also men's work can also, let's see. Okay, let me just move. What I'll do is, I'm seeing Destiny. Yeah, here we go. And hopefully that's better there for you, Destiny. So, what will happen then? So if we could see, working through, going through here, I will be working that blending area throughout here, and that will be, I'll show you different ways to blend it. Could be done with either scissor over combing, clipper over comb, blending scissors, various different ways. So, there we go. Now I'm going to continue. Let me take a look and just see. Yeah, quite happy with that so far. Then what I'm going to be doing is working with an open blade. Now by working with an open blade, okay, what will happen is I can then really kind of work with the color and see if any areas of concern. So, and I'm going to kind of just skim that out a little bit. Okay, by working with the skimming technique, what I mean by skimming, a very, very gentle touch. And then you'll see, then I'm going to work with the color here, because remember, fading is shading. All right, so I really want to make sure that's all going to be nicely, you know, cleaned up and everything. And I can do that with the various other different type of equipment we use in barbering, so such as the trimmers, so shavers. So, once again, I think the thing is, it's working with different different tools. I think that's a beautiful thing as barbers and hairdressers. We can work with different sets of tools and just have a bit of fun. There's no right or wrong way, as long as the finished result, okay? So, and back over. And one thing is, when I'm going with the blending or the fading itself, I want to make sure my body is a little more, it's almost like dancing, because if I step too much, I might be creating heaviness or lines too much. So I want to be able to, like, swaying technique. So I do apologize. I can't see any of the comments right now. I moved the comment section away, so hopefully this is better for everyone. So unfortunately, I won't be able to answer any questions, so I do apologize. But if I see any questions afterwards, I will try and type in the answers at the end of all this. Okay, so what's now going to happen is, if you can see this area, I'm now going to be blending it through. I will go back over with my trimmers at the very end, really kind of just give more of like a smoother appearance. So I hope that's going to be okay for everyone. So we're going to work with the blending. So now, what I can do here, okay, so now I could use my clipper over comb technique, which is fine. Now for the blending area, because remember, so just for the cosmetologists, understanding men's cutting, all right, so what happens? Everywhere from here downwards is graduation, from here upwards is layering. Now, same thing, if we look this way, graduation, layering. Now, my little trick to remember is that when I want to layer the hair and make it flatter, working with clipper over comb, I'm going to go across the comb. So keep that very flat. Then for the refining or the graduating, I will then work with a fanning motion going like this. And I'll be taking very small amounts off. And it's much easier to be picking, going upwards from shorter to longer, which is graduation. Now, so as a reminder, so remember where you are within the haircut. So if you're up here in the layering area, most likely you're going to have to go across the comb. If you were doing around the hairline area, then you'd be doing your fanning motion. So hopefully that makes sense. Going up, across. And making sure, a couple key things is making sure you're using the bottom part of your clipper. Do not use the top part, because otherwise you're going to make some mistakes. You can see where the bottom part of the blade is. Getting through. There we go. Now you can see already that's starting to get blended here. So that's clipper with comb is actually one of my favorite ways, or quickest ways, to blend in a haircut. So you don't necessarily, have to, take your, it depends on what you offer inside your hair salons or barbershops. If you're, depending on how much you're charging, also if you want an appointment schedule, or if it's a walk-in center. So now this area here, that's bothering me there. I will be refining that when it's all dry. When it is dry after I'm done with my clipper work. But yeah, so really going through. Then I'm now going to be working on the back. So making sure, because that's the layering area, I'm going to be working across the comb. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. So let me just check the comment section real quick. Okay. Yeah, once again, thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully, Destiny, Maxwell Collins, hopefully this is a better view for you. You can remove the comment section yourself or your device as well, just by swiping off to the side. So hopefully this is okay for you. All right, everyone. Let me know, Destiny. Okay, just give us a thumbs up. So now I'm going to be doing the opposite side. Now, just as I was doing clipper over comb when the hair was wet, I'm now going to be doing a backhand stroke or backhand movement with my clipper. The reason why is because I don't want to get the hair all over the gentleman's face. Some guys are sensitive. They don't want to get the hair all over their face. So going up and going back. So this is a great way just to really kind of help flatten down. And also working with a quick blending. And because then I could then go back in and do something called spot checking. Now what spot checking is to me is that I'm going to go back in, all right, and just see certain areas I need to work on the blending. One spot or one area at a time. It's kind of like life. I mean, you can only work on one problem at a time, all right? You can't just solve all your life's problems all in one go. It doesn't work that way. So for spot checking, or checking at the end, it's like you can work on one area at a time, and that's achievable. When you try and fix everything all in one go, it's not very achievable. Okay, so this is great advice for someone that's first starting off in barbering or working with the clippers. All right, everything could be blended. Remember, fading is shading. We're working with the color. The word fade stems from how the hair color fades into the skin. So now, once again, I can play around using my, after I'm done the clipper over comb, really kind of just taking a look to see, and how that's really kind of like, I can just cut that off there, that was bothering me, and really then refine everything. Now, just to show you, so this is what fanning is. So once again, before, because I was in the layering area, I'm going across the comb. Now, with the fanning motion, I'm just doing this way, and that will just take very small bits off. Really just for fun. And that is normally what I use for refining or for graduation. Now, graduation, once again, is the buildup of weight. And with graduation, going from shorter to longer. So right now, I just want to just polish everything off. And really just help refine everything. Okay, everyone. So, I think that's looking not bad so far. So what I'm now going to do is, okay, I will then go into my next, I really want to kind of show you various different ways to blend it. So just so it kind of gives you different options. Okay, nothing is like set in stone. I mean, we have different type of tools as a barber or a cosmetologist or a hairdresser, let's use them. Why not? Have fun, right? You don't want to just do the same way 10 times a day, 5 days a week, 4 weeks out of the month for the rest of your life, every year, in your career. You don't want to get bored. Try different things. See what happens. Remember, it's just hair. If you want to try different techniques, get a mannequin head, and then you could then try them on maybe models or you could then do these cool techniques on your guests, on your clients. Haircutting should be fun. For me, I've been doing this 35 years and I absolutely love it. I have so much fun doing it. So now, just to refine everything, I'm going to be going into, now this is called a zero attachment comb. Now it's almost like a half guard. Now this one here, I'm able to do it open and then close. So right now, I'm kind of just going to be working with the color, not really seeing any areas that I need to work with. I first do it open, and then I'm going to do it closed. I'm just kind of gliding it through. And I'm just really taking a look at the overall working with the skin fade. And then you see the way I'm going to refine everything with my trimmers. And if you notice, I'm going this way and that way. So I call it crisscrossing. It's kind of the reason why I call it crisscrossing. It's kind of like, remember back in school, or remember on the, those tests in high school, and you used to have to fill out the grid. There was little lines. And then if you were using a number 2 pencil, right? Do you remember that? Probably shows my age. Now, I remember using the eraser, if I, on the back end of that pencil, and to scribble it out, I would go back like this. And that's what I'm doing with the clipper. So I'm going back and forth. Now, the reason why we do it that way is because the head shape is round. So, and the clipper blade is square. So if I keep on doing that by going like that with the clipper blade, trying to blend it, it's going to create line after line. So the best thing is, like an eraser, go back and forth, and you kind of erasing any lines. All right, so hopefully that will help you. Now, once again, it's, I think the key thing is when we are working with cutting and everything, let's try different ways, see what works for you. Because that's the thing is, you are the artist, you are the hair cutter. That's why, like in my classes, my online courses, I try and show different ways. Because once again, it's just like one, you don't want to get bored, but at the same time, not every technique or tool works for everyone. There's no right or wrong way. It's what works well for you and how the client feels at the end. So now, just going over. And that's a closed blade, okay? So meaning that's the shortest. So that's a 1.5 millimeter. So 1/16 of an inch. Sorry, I've been out of America for so long, I didn't know my size. Okay, so then you're going to see that that's the final area I'm going to have to blend. So I am going to be using my trimmers here. So with the trimmers, I'm just going to go around the hairline area, and you'll see I'm just going to be kind of scooping it out slightly, almost like a spin motion. Now, the reason why is literally just want to kind of like make that a little bit smoother with the color of the stitching of the mannequin. And you see, I can also working with the edging up as well. Using the very tips. Now, by doing that, like I said, you still want to flick. Now, the equipment I use are the Andis equipment, which I've been an Andis educator for about almost like 7 years. So I hope, do anyone use Andis clippers out there? So now for myself, I use the Andis T outliners right now. It's because the reason why is because it's a wider blade, and because what I'm doing is the mannequin's head is a little bit wider. So this is a great way. Now, if I really want to get very precise, a lot more smaller, I will then use, or maybe on a smaller head, I might use my Andis Slimline Pro, which is more like a smaller blade. So moving this around. Going back over, I can see that color. Look at the discoloration. Not discoloration, I apologize. More of the color changing. Okay. Just scraping that out. Going through, and then the back. I'm doing it on the other side. And just really, like, I might, because of the mannequin, because of the stitching, I might press down a little bit harder. You may not want to do that on your clients, because you don't want to hurt them. Yeah. And, you know, once again, if I want to kind of just tidy this up a little bit, I'll just turn the clipper around, just so then that can really help give it a bit more of like a sharper edge to everything. So now I'm going to go into my scissor work, working with the blending. So finally, like in the areas, so now I can do scissor over combing. Now you can also go back to your clipper over comb. The choice is yours, whatever way you want to work with it. Now going through. Okay, so I'm using a wide tooth white comb. The reason why is, once again, the hair is dark and I want to make sure I can see everything. So as opposed to if I used a black colored comb, it might be a little bit tricky for me to see. So making sure that I'm basically just taking very small amounts off. I could then go back into working with my club cutting or scissor cutting and just really could work over that way as well. So you have different ways to blend a haircut. You know, once again, I'm going to show you working with the blending scissors or thinning scissors to help blend in the haircut. Once again, we're working with the color and really seeing what works well or works best. You know, really, I just wanted to take very small amounts off. I think that's all that's needed. All right. So really approaching this, going back over. Now, really seeing how, you know, how this is all going to work. So I can then, you know, change up, going back and forth, you know, seeing how what's best to help blend it. Making sure that my fingers are pointing straight down. I still want to keep a very flat shape there, you know, really to help. You know, you don't want the hair to expand. So now right here, okay, this area here, as I take a look in the video monitor, okay, that I want to make sure that this is right here. This is expanding too much. So I'm just using a clip just to get it out of the way. And really just going to be reducing this here. Okay, it's kind of bothersome right there, so. Okay, so really taking that away. Just to refine it there. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Thank you very much for joining us. Once again, my name is Sid Sultan. I'm one of the educators here at Hairbrained. You know, I try and do maybe a free live video tutorial every twice a week. I just did one I was in Florence, Italy on Saturday night, and I was working on an Afro model, African Caribbean hair, and that was amazing. Great model I had. She was lovely. And so yes, so I work on both men and women. I do wet shaving, hair coloring as well, beard designing, barbering, hairdressing, you name it. The only thing I don't really do is like wedding hair, so I'm not I'm not the biggest fan of it. So okay, just making sure the final bit here. But yeah, so let me know where you're watching from. Please put it in the comment section. I'll give you a bit of a shout out. Represent. So I'm just going back over. Parabens. So we got parabens. So I'm sorry, I don't know where that is. Okay, once again, I'm still just kind of continuing, making sure that, once again, that we're only moving the thumb only with your scissor combing or with your hair cutting in general. You'll get a much more straighter cut and a much more even cut as well. Now, I'm now going to proceed working towards the back as well, just so you can see. I'm just working my way around. and then I could do the other side in a moment. Cool. But for me, like myself, making sure that as I'm going through everything, looking at the overall shape, seeing how how it's all kind of coming out, and literally going back over, making sure that it's all, working with the overall shape and seeing how that is. Yeah, so now going to be continuing over here. I can work freehand. And then you'll see I'm also going to be working with the blending scissors as well. So just showing you different ways to blend a haircut. Once again, so you can also do club cutting, which is really just taking the hair at a 90 degrees angle, pulling it straight from the head, working over your fingers to create a much more flatter shape. I'm now going to continue. There we go. And then you see I'm then also still need to do work a little bit of texturizing on the top to see how that's going. So, but yeah, guys, if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comment section. And yeah, you can also see I'm also teaching a free webinar for my new online class for barbering for foundation. That will be happening tomorrow night, 7 p.m. UK time. The link is in the comment section. So show different short haircuts for men, please. Yes, of course. Once again, so I will be working different type of haircuts through the live video tutorials. So please, like I said, you can also see some work that we're doing for our new online barbering program as well. Now, just in the front here, this area, so making sure, first I might take away working with straight cutting like that. Then I can go back in and I can soften or work with point cutting just to almost like, I don't want to keep them like too angular or too heavy there. So, but yeah. Okay, so that was just working with the scissors at the moment. I'm now going to go into working with my blending scissors. I hope everyone's doing well. Thank you very much for watching so far. You'll see the way I'm going to be doing the blending scissors. Then I'm going to be doing the texturizing. Then I'm going to be doing the styling. All right, everyone. Okay. So I'm now going to use the blending. I call them blending scissors instead of thinning scissors. I think it's a nice way of for me. That's what I really use them for, is just to help blend in a haircut, not to really thin out. You'll see when I do my texturizing segment of the haircut, which is on the top panel or top part of the head, or the apex area, and going through here, you'll see I'm going to do the variety of different type of texturizing techniques with my normal haircutting scissors. Now, with these blending scissors, I'm really going to be focusing on this part of the haircut, which is the blending from the top to the sides. And you'll see it's more designed, really more designed for working with the color, because remember, fading is shading. And the scissors I'm using is a brand called Oka Secura, and we have in the UK, we have the exclusive distributor or executive distributor called Yoy Scissors, and that's where I get my scissors from. So, but they do have these brands. They are international brands, Japanese. So yeah, but they do the job, which I'm quite happy with. You can also if you feel that if there's any discoloration in certain areas, you can almost use these, them like point cutting into the fade itself. So yeah, you can have a lot of fun there. Okay, I'm going to continue. Okay, so once again, still working with the color itself. And then what will then happen is I'm then going to be working okay? Working with the texturizing on top, and then the finished result with the styling. So I hope everyone's enjoying this tutorial. Please give us a thumbs up in the comment section. But once again, if you have any questions, like I said, I will be able to answer them for you. Or if you just want to let us know where you're watching from, please let us know. But check out our free webinar, which is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. UK time. The link is in the comment section. And yeah, so I'm going to be talking, I'll be showing some other cutting techniques and talking about our new online barbering program. But yeah, so once again, I tend to use the wide end of my cutting comb when I'm working on the dry hair like this, just because with this, I'm just really just focusing on the blending, really not going to I don't want to take chunks out. Now, that's what happens when you use a finer side of the comb. The hair is closer together. That means you can take possibly chunks out. So I only use the fine side with scissor combing when I really want to refine the shape. So, and now I'll just move this over this way. Okay. So I hope this is looking okay for everyone. I will be going back over here just to really, I think it's that front area here. But yeah, so I think one of the things is it's like, especially if you are new to men's work, once again, I think, you know, I think sometimes for a cosmetologist, because we're hairdressers, it could be quite worrisome, you know, get a little bit worried because with short hair, you see every little mistake. All right. And that's why I recommend to any hairdresser to learn to go into barbering, because of the fact that it's like it teaches you, you know, really strong scissor control and cutting techniques. And the thing is, it's like if you make a mistake, it's not like you can necessarily hide it. You know, with hairdressers, especially with the long hair, thick hair, you can wave it, you can, you know, mess it around. With barbering, it shows every little mistake. So, so don't worry, I'm not trying to stress you out. I'm already stressed out as it is. But yeah, so now what I'm going to be focusing on now is just really working with going to be softening or chipping into the edges here. Just really just want to take a little bit of the heaviness off here. And also to make it a little bit easier to style the hair. Also as well, I can also soften the corners. By softening the corners right here, what will happen, okay, by softening the corners, I can really create, okay, a much more, you know, I don't want to take away the corner and it will round him off. Now, we want to maintain more of a side, more of a square shape here. So going through, there we go. And I can also work with point cutting over comb. That's another way you can do it. So yeah, as you see, I'm still using the wide end of my cutting comb, going back over, and really just focusing on just really kind of just doing this top panel. I could use my blending scissors for this, but I chose to do it this way myself. I'm going to just continue on the opposite side. Now, what will happen is, when I do this side here, okay, just going through here, and like I said, and you can take slightly bigger sections, that's okay, because one, it also will help prevent you from possibly maybe, you know, taking chunks out. So this is a great way just to help remove weight, and also just to add a little more texture, and also kind of depuffs the guy in a way. You know, you don't want to make the guy looking too puffy or poofy, where his head tends to expand, you know, the hair tends to expand. Luckily, with the mannequin head, it's not overly thick, which is great. Sometimes you get a mannequin and they could be extraordinarily too thick, and it just takes forever to cut the hair. So I'm now going to continue. So once again, I'm still working with vertical sections and just working with the point cutting. But we will be getting to the finishing stages here. I'm just really refining everything, and then I'm going to be working with a bit of product to really help control the hair, and yeah, just have a bit of fun. So, but thank you very much, everyone, for watching tonight's tutorial. I'm very grateful you spent some time with us. And yeah, so please, you'll see more, free education here at Hairbrained. And once again, you can also go to Hairbrained Pro to see for any equipment and so forth. So yeah, if you have any questions about equipment or anything, please feel free to ask. And yeah, you can also sign up to my free webinar class, which is tomorrow night, UK time, 7 p.m. And I'm going to be showcasing and talking more about our new online barbering program. Now, for any of you that are just starting off, possibly working with, learning how to do point cutting. Now, the key thing is making sure that we're going in vertical with our blades, because as soon as you go at an angle, you take length off, and they're going to have a very, very short haircut. So, making sure that when we are working with taking weight off only, make sure the blades are going in vertical. I kind of learned that one the hard way. So, I remember I took a big chunk out. So, okay. Now, what I'm now going to do is I'm going to be applying a suitable product in the hair. So first, let's get the, I do apologize. I'm sorry for that. I just almost knocked over the phone. I do apologize about that. Okay, so I'm now using just more of like a styling cream. Now, the styling cream is a brand called Captain Fawcett's, and which is made in the UK, and it's absolutely brilliant. So, I'm just doing more of like a, just flicking the hair. And kind of just applying this, and you see, just giving like a nice light hold to control that. So, but yeah, so I hope everyone is enjoying this once again. So it's been such a pleasure, to show you guys, share with you information, and yeah. So, but hopefully you'll see us again. Once again, Hairbrained. You always see free education here. Once again, it's really trying to support the hairdressing plus the barbering community. So great. So this is my finished result. There we go. There we go. All right, so let me just do a little recap and then we can call it a day. So on the top here, what I did was I worked with a vertical section straight down the middle. Then I took sections across the head, like so, and I picked it straight up, and there was my guide in the middle. And then I just kind of kept it all square. Then I continued working a square shape in the back by bringing the hair up 180 to connect from the front to the back, and then I worked straight out 90 degrees with vertical sections going this way all the way around. Once I did that towards the sides, I then I worked with my clipper of a comb on wet hair just to remove some of that length, that bulk. Then I dried it off. Then I worked with my fading techniques, so I used the number 2 attachment guard. Then I went into my closed blade as a baseline. Then I worked with the blending inside, and you can do that either way, going upwards or downwards with the number system. Then I used a variety of different type of blending techniques, such as scissor over combing, clipper over comb. You can also use scissor cutting, depending like that, over fingers. And also, last but not least, your blending scissors as well. And then going back in, I just wanted to just kind of soften that. So I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's tutorial.